Over the years, Pokemon has introduced many features into their games. Some of these features have even become staples, like raid battles or swarms kind of becoming massive mass outbreaks, things like that. Others are talked about by the fans long after they're gone, like Pokemon contests. But there are a lot of features that were planned to be in Pokemon games that were ultimately scrapped and we never got to play around with them. And frankly, these were really good, and we need to see them return, whether it's in Gen 10 or down the road. Welcome back to the post where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we'll be talking about the scrapped features that Game Freak needs to bring back because, frankly, they were fire. So all of this is coming from the Terra leak, which is a hack that happened on Game Freak. You guys know the drill by now. We've talked about it a bunch, and everybody's talked about it a bunch. But yeah, we learned some features. Specifically, all of these are coming from Generation 6 and 7 that were planned for these games and were ultimately scrapped. But they are so good. I'll illustrate exactly what I mean. We begin with diving, and you might go, okay, diving's not a scrapped feature. We've had it before. And you're right, both the Unova and the Hoenn games do have diving in them. However, Sun and Moon planned on bringing this feature back with a bit of a twist. Sun and Moon was going to change diving to, for one, have a cave diving system where you'd have to go through caves and occasionally come up for air. And then that was kind of the second feature, a little spoiler there, that they made it where you couldn't just breathe underwater. In Hoenn and Unova, you're underwater for an unlimited amount of time. With the exception of in Unova, there is like things in the Abyssal Ruins that can like make you go up, but it's not an oxygen issue. And so Sun and Moon was going to do this. They were going to have it where, yes, you would have to come back up for air and go back down. And if you ran out of air while you were underwater, you would black out and basically wake up on a beach, probably from whatever island you went diving from. The idea of the cave system where you're having to weave through rocks and like kind of go up for air, that just gives a sense of adventure, right? Like that makes it feel really intense, and I don't know, I think that's kind of a level of immersion I'm looking for. I mean, other kind of more fantastical games like Legend of Zelda and Mario still have a lot of games where, yeah, you can't just breathe underwater. So it makes sense that Pokemon, why should we be able to breathe underwater there? And I think that also, too, doing this would have made it more like a game, which kind of just would have made it a bit more fun. And I don't know. I really like the idea, and I hope that diving does return someday, and specifically it returns like this, where you have to go up for air, or maybe, you have a device that can extend your airflow. Maybe there's like, how in Legend of Zelda, you'll occasionally find like little bubbles that you can go up to, and that kind of restores your air. Things like that. There's ways to work around it, but I do think that this is a pretty good idea. Next up is the Battle Cruise. This was another planned feature from Sun and Moon. This was going to be in place of the Battle Tree. There would be this cruise line that travels the world, and you'd get on it, and there were different battle facilities on it. Not only this, but the cruise ship would dock at various places around the Pokemon world, like Castelia City or Slateport City. And while you weren't able to get off the cruise ship at these locations, you did have a chance at seeing characters from those regions. So if you dock at Slateport City, there's a chance that Wally might come onto your ship. You dock in Castelia, there's a chance that maybe Iris or Berg might come onto your ship, right? Things like that. And man, this would have been really cool. Not only would it have been exciting to like be checking your game like, oh, what region am I in now? But also to, it's kind of a way for Game Freak to give you a game with all regions without giving you a game with all regions, right? Like the idea that like just knowing I'm in Castelia right now, it might make some fans upset to know that they're there and can't disembark, but I suppose that could be a way to fix it, is that, in future games you allow them to disembark. And of course you're not going to be able to explore the whole of each region, but maybe, yeah, you're able to explore a certain area from each region, like Vermilion City from Kanto, Olivine from Johto, Slateport from Hoenn, Castelia from Unova, maybe Canalave from Sinnoh. You would have Coumarine and Kalos. Alola, probably the best one, would be Hau'oli City. Galar, it would be probably, honestly, they don't have a lot of coastal cities, probably Hulbury. And then with Paldea, it would very likely be maybe, I don't know, Lavencia? or Porto Marinata. I don't know. Either way, I think that this would be a really, really cool feature to see return someday. And what better time than for Gen 10, where we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of the franchise, to give us a game where we do get to go to every region. You just can't, like, explore the entirety of it. Another feature from Sun and Moon is Survival Island. Look, imagine the raid systems that we have now, but with a bit more effort into it. You know, you're not just clicking moves or cheers, right? This is what Survival Island was. It would have you literally on this island with other players trying to survive a mecha Pokemon trying to kill you. That's exactly right. And I think that this is such a cool idea and would really expand the, like, multiplayer aspect of these games. The idea that I can hop on with my friends and go to this island, and that's how we catch Pokemon. We can catch a bunch of Pokemon on this island, but we're gonna have to work together to, you know, catch these Pokemon and also maybe avoid giant robots or avoid Pokemon that are trying to take us on that maybe we don't want. You know, that kind of aspect I think could be really, really cool. I think it would really work well as like a kind of Safari Zone or Great Marsh type thing, because those are features that we also haven't seen in a very long time. But yeah, Survival Island, this needs to be what our raid system becomes in Gen 10. I hope you're listening, GameFreak, because this is it right here. And lastly, we have the Mirage Islands. And again, you're going, dude, that's not new. And yes and no. The Mirage Islands are not new. However, a feature for the Mirage Islands is new. It was scrapped and we never got to see it. And this was in the Kalos region. That's right. In a scrapped Kalos game, you were supposed to be able to go to the southern part of Kalos, and there were going to be Mirage Islands there. There would basically be a roll of a dice, a lottery, if you will, and that would decide if a Mirage Island is appearing in your game. You would be able to check your television in your house or in other people's homes, and it would like say, like, oh, a Mirage Island has appeared off of insert water route here. And then you would be able to go there and find this island. But where it differed from the home region is that you would be able to access this island and claim it. You were able to name your island. And of course, it would come with some wild Pokemon that maybe the island I got doesn't have. But then that's where it gets even cooler. You know, one big thing that happened with the 3DS was the Street Pass system, where basically you were able to kind of give players things like the Eon ticket and even like, you know, trading friend codes to get like different friend safaris through Street Pass. And this would have taken advantage of that as well. With this, I would be able to access your island, you'd be able to access mine. But it was also cool that you could name your island. I think this is exactly the thing that, like, look, I love the Pokemon games. If I had to pick one thing that I think the Pokemon games are just barely missing, is customization, a sense of making things my own. And, you know, this is beloved by the fans. It's why the secret bases in the Hoenn and Sinnoh games were so beloved, and frankly, why the new version of them were so hated in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. People want to be able to make something their own, make it like they've got their own home. And the idea of me getting my own island and being able to name it whatever I want, you know, so long as it's within the character limit and doesn't use any bad words, that's amazing to me. And then being able to share it with your friends and just the excitement of, like, imagine the shiny hunting streams where it's like, we're Mirage Island hunting, we want the one that gives us access to this Pokemon, whatever it might be. I mean, the Friend Safari gave us access to starters, so maybe the Mirage Islands would have done this too. I don't know. There's so many possibilities with this, but the idea of sharing them through Street Pass and being able to name them, that idea is really, really cool to me. But there you have it, guys. Those are some features that were planned for Pokemon games, but ultimately Game Freak had to cut them for whether it be development time or they just couldn't make it happen or they wanted to go a different direction. They cut them, but I'm saying, nah, we need them back. Let me know what you think of these. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss all our future videos. Also, feel free to check out my memberships. YouTube memberships are open for my channel, and it's a great way to support the channel. Yeah. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff. Until next time, I will see all of you later.